need religion in order to be a spiritual person?
Okay, anyone may answer. Anyone may answer, and this is done in a brief amount of time. We have 10 minutes overall for this. Yes, please.
To put things briefly, I don't think so, because I have met a few people who are spiritual atheists. I have met a few people who are, in a way, spiritual in their philosophies. Take the Buddhists, for example. Buddhists are enemy of religion. They don't worship anyone. They just follow suit the example of Buddha. And as such, it can be treated as more of a philosophy rather than as a religion. And if we see them in their meditations, we see them in their things like that, and they get very spiritual, and yet they don't have anything to worship. Same goes for martial arts. I have studied Fu Jiao Pai, the tiger of Kung Fu. Fu Jiao Pai is very, in ways, spiritual as well. It requires to internalize all your emotions, all your thoughts, to just let them out through your actions. That in itself is a very spiritual process, and yet it's not a religion, it's an art. So yeah, there you have it. I don't think so.
Thank you. Reverend Father Pascual.
I also accept that you can be spiritual without a religion. I was so impressed watching on television the family of a British newspaper man who was beheaded by ISIS, and there was no hatred in that family at all. They said, we are not men and women of faith, but we are expressing our sorrow at what happened, and I was so impressed by that. I mean, they didn't say they were atheists, but they said we are not people of faith, and they were so filled with love, and they were devastated by what happened. I was so impressed by that. So it is possible to be spiritual without religion, but then religion, it's also possible to belong to religion and not be spiritual. There are many people who belong to religion that they just go through the motions and they're not really committed to anything. No, we have to be men and women of commitment. I mean, if we believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, then we have to accept His teaching and follow it, and then belong to a church and live in community. So I would think that's the ordinary way of being spiritual. Now, being a Jesuit, we have the spirituality of St. Ignatius, which is a very deep spirituality, which we share with the church, and we share with everyone who is interested in it. So, but it's focused on Jesus Christ. So, I'm saying that the best expression of spirituality is within the religious community.
And lastly, Pastor Kian.
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier in my opening, what we believe in about mankind having three parts: a body, a soul, and a spirit. So, in that aspect, having a spirit and tapping into that spirit, living out of that spirit, causes a person to be spiritual. And so, I think the question was a bit, I don't know, for me it was a bit vague, because for me, what are you trying to say by being spiritual? If it's living out of your spirit, then I think everybody could, as long as they know they have a spirit, could live out of that spirit. But my understanding of religion is basically mankind's attempt. There's different types of religion. Religion is mankind's attempt to get to God. Alright? So that's why there's so many different religions in the world, is because different cultures and tribes and find different ways to get to the God that they believe is God. So religion to me is mankind's attempt to get to God. But what we believe in is, no matter what we do, we really can't live up to a certain standard that He has, to get to Him. That's why God sent Jesus. So what we believe in is not really religion, but God sent Jesus, God coming to man, so we don't have to go to Him. He sent His Son so that we can just receive everything. He is the full expression of that. So, no, I don't believe that religion is the answer to spirituality.
Pastor Etienne Morales. All right, closing now, should we?
Okay, last question, second and last, and this is a conglomeration of a lot of questions. Basically, what is the way to world peace?
Is that a trick question? I feel like we are Miss Universe contestants here, and we need to answer how to attain world peace.
So about a united world, or a united society.
Well, it all goes down to what you believe in. And only true unity comes when I believe the people start believing in the same thing. So, for me to say that, truly, they're at the point of everything going on, it's not going to happen that we will have a united world, because there will always be opposing views. All right, but there are areas that we could come in agreement with. Maybe, let's say, the rights of people and loving one another. I believe all human beings have the capacity to love. Do you agree, guys?
Yes.
So if we can agree to just walk in love with one another, then we can begin unity with that. The song says, "All we need is love."
Oh.
All we need is love. But if we could walk in love, we can begin with something to attain a unity in all aspects. I believe that at this point, I don't think it's possible, but we can start with something to come in agreement with.
Well, I think what we're doing today is an attempt to reach that, to try to see what we have in common and what we can work together on. And so that's a start, so we have to continue doing that.
Okay, before I answer, I need everyone to answer me. Hi! Hi! Yeah, because a lot of people's minds are drifting right now. You're interested in merienda already. Okay, so, yeah, world peace, that sounds so utopic, and I don't know, because part of me, the psychologist within me says that, no, you can't have utopia. But one thing I can tell you, we can come pretty close to that. How? Cats. No, cats. A compromising, accepting, and tolerating society. Cats. Because one thing, we have common goals, but we have differences as well. If you are willing to set aside those differences and make a compromise towards a better goal, then that's already the one step further. If you are willing to accept people, no matter who they are, what they do, as long as it's ethical, moral, and legal, then that's already another step. If you are willing to, if you cannot accept that person, then at least tolerate what they do. Like, for example, I don't necessarily like Jejemons. Right? But I do not openly incite people to discriminate them, nor do I advocate it in my mind as well. I tolerate them because they are still humans, and it is their form of expression. And if we can apply those three to a society, then we're gonna be living in a better world. So I need everyone to remember that. Remember cats.
All right, thank you. A round of applause for our speakers. Now, before we continue, may isa pong pahabol, and this was a special request made by one of the coolest, may I say, LP professor, a professor in logic and philosophy, Sir PJ Vinyasa. Please just give your question. All right, Sir PJ. Oh, pahabol lang daw.
First of all, I want to thank you for those who actually came here. Okay. Thank you very much for enlightening our students here at Lyceum. My question somehow revolves around a current issue happening, of course, in the Western world, which extends also in other parts of the globe. Could you give us at least an idea of what's your stand on a current issue of racism or Islamophobia, and your stand on the Palestinian-Israeli conflict? Palestinian-Israeli conflict.
Palestinian-Israeli conflict. So we expect a brief answer as usual.
Oh, that's not going to be brief.
Yes.
Because Palestine and Israel goes back to Ishmael and Isaac. If my brother, the Muslim speaker would have been here, because the Israels would claim that their God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but the Muslims would go under Abraham, Ishmael, Esau, because Ishmael and Esau based on birthright. They were the firstborn, and according to that tradition, firstborn should have so Palestine and Israel has gone back to Bible times, and if you believe in the Bible or not, that's up to you, but historically, you can check it out. It's historically based, you can research it. It goes back way to that time, and the feud is a family feud, and it's not just the land. It's a family feud, and that's why all of this is happening in the Middle East. With regards to Israel, okay? With regards to Israel, it's because it's not just about the land. It's not just about the land. It's about, it goes way back to Ishmael and to Esau, feeling that they were the firstborn, and the firstborn should, according to tradition, then you have the birthright, and so it's birthright, it's an issue of birthright, because Jacob is the secondborn, and Isaac was the firstborn with Sarah, but the first son of Abraham from his seed was Ishmael with Hagar, and you can see in the Bible that it explains it a little bit there. So that's what's happening. It's more than just about. I think it's deeper than just a social issue. I believe it's a spiritual. It takes more than 3 minutes to explain.
Racism is a very big problem in the United States for historical reasons. You think it would have passed, but it really hasn't, as evidenced by recent black people being killed by policemen. However, there are countries in the world where racism is not a problem. So it is possible to overcome it. The United States has a long way to go to overcome it. But other countries like in Latin America, it's not a problem. So the United States has to move a great deal in that. Without the Islamophobia, like in Germany now, there have been rallies against Muslims. But the cathedral in Cologne shut off its lights, saying, "We will not respect these rallies against Muslims. We are not in favor of that. We are in favor of the Muslims. We respect their human dignity." So you can't blame the Muslim community for what is happening with ISIS and Boko Haram. I mean, they're aberrations in a sense. About the Israeli-Palestinian issue, I mean, Israel was given a country, was given the land after the war. They suffered so much from the 6 million Jews in concentration camps. And now they're hanging on to the land, being surrounded by Arab countries. And so they're very defensive. Palestine has a right to the land. The Catholic Church has come out in favor of the Palestinian issue, the Palestinians against the Jews. So, the Palestinians have to get more rights and become a nation. And the Jewish people have to be made secure, that they don't have to defend themselves so much that they will be destroying the nations. So if the Arabs can come to that acceptance of the Jews, then I think that will help the Palestinian issue.
Thank you, Reverend Father Pascual.
That last part about this bit about the Israel and Palestine thing is quite tricky. I don't think in my 23 years of existence am I equipped to provide a proper answer to resolve this conflict. Although, yeah, I don't want to step in any boundaries where my words are not welcome. Yeah. So I'd rather leave that to be resolved for, let's say, the UN. Well, one thing I can say is that the UN needs to step in. They need to, they have a spine, yes, but they need to grow a thicker spine and step in and say, enough, ceasefire, or else I'm going to spank him, right? We need to get it in between these two and let them put down the guns and maybe pick up the mics and discuss it. But yes, I agree that this issue is more deeply rooted. As for Islamophobia, one thing is the responsibility on fighting this relies on two sides. The Islamic people and the non-Islamic people. Thing is, with Islamophobia, right now, whenever people see someone who looks Middle Eastern, they expect that guy to shout Allah Akbar and blow up. It's not right. It's not right. Well, to help with combat Islamophobia, I have read one move that works well. The one thing they did in Australia, there was this, correct me if I'm wrong, hostage situation back then in Australia, and people were scared, especially the Muslims, because they might be attacked. But Australians started this movement of all right with you. Yeah. You see, Australians remember cats. You see, they were willing to compromise. I mean, it's risky, yes. If they ride with that person, their safety might be they might be in danger as well of being attacked. But hell, they set aside that and said, all right with you. They're willing to accept Muslims for who they are. They're willing to accept the risk and perhaps even tolerate the hate that they may receive from the Islamophobics. But one thing, the responsibility as well lies on the Islamic people. Because sure, you have ISIS. Sure, you had those people at 9/11. But the thing is, I think Muslims as well have to be more proactive in distancing themselves from the common terrorist image. They have to be more proactive in saying, no, this is Islam, in letting people understand who they are and what they represent.
Thank you very much. All right, so that concludes our event, but of course, we can't conclude with a major bonga something. Okay, so you guys have your glow sticks, right? May we request members of the ORCOM to please assist ushers, we need ushers. Okay, so speakers, may we invite you in front? Speakers, ushers. Okay, so we invite everyone to please rise, and we shall be doing the United Glow glow stick ceremony since we weren't allowed to use candles?
It was actually supposed to be candles, but we thought glow sticks would be just as significant. What's the significance again, Josh?
Well, we all have our glow sticks, right?
No.
And we have different colors. And these sticks represent our diversity. It represents us having different opinions, having different ideologies, having different beliefs. But in that sense, despite our differences, we can all be united into glowing. Now, what do we mean when we say glow? That glow is your knowledge. That glow is your capability to be informed. And that glow will represent you informing others to a better society.
You being the catalyst for more cats.
Alright, so where's our glow sticks? No, I mean ours. No, you don't have yours. So we don't have
It's so unfair. You get glow sticks. Why don't we?
We got the water.
I got water.
Pretty.
Okay, and we have this United Manifesto. So we shall all be reading this. Are you guys ready to get united? Let me hear you, okay? I know some of you are really good on, but come on, we have a cafeteria downstairs and it's about to end. Are you guys ready to be united? Yeah! Alright, let's all read the United Manifesto. Jethro? I, Josh,
Danielle,
solemnly swear in the presence of my fellow human beings to help propagate the knowledge I have obtained to show them that diversity of thought can be a good thing. To show them that we all can be united regardless of faith or belief, ideology, race, or faction. I will devote myself to knowledge and wisdom, towards kindness and humanism to my fellow humans. Not just the Filipinos, but also to my brothers and sisters from different races. I refuse to be naive. Say it with conviction. I refuse to be naive. I refuse to be shaken. I refuse to be unaware. I refuse to say okay to status quo. I am a reformer. It is in my DNA. I am for unity. I am against war and terror. I am against poverty and hunger. I am against illiteracy. I am for progress. I am united with love and peace. I am united with those who choose to be united. And I will aim to unite to those who refuse to be. Now say this loudly. We are one.